up guys, back with another one. This time not so much action and stuff, being out in the desert or doing anything really with the car. Today we're gonna replace my pads. So I went to Nissan the other day to get my car serviced. And obviously when they service it, they tell you, you need to replace your cabin air filter, you need to do this and do that and whatever. But one thing they did let me know was that my brake pads were like super close to being, I guess completely worn out. A few weeks after that, I started driving around. I kind of started hearing that little indicator of like the little screeching noise and whatnot. So ordered some Stop Tech pads from Z1. They got them to me within a couple days, which was great. And now I finally have the opportunity, the time to knock these out. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. It's pretty simple. I don't have to get my rotors turned. Nissan did let me know that my rotors were good, excellent shape, but I don't have to do anything with those. A lot of times when you change your brake pads or when it's time for a brake job, they have you turn your rotors down and stuff like that, but my rotors are relatively new. So first things first, obviously we got to get the wheels off. Something simple. 21 millimeter. Opening up the box here. So you have obviously your 4 pads. This is obviously just the front. 4 pads. You have your new little aluminum, I don't even know what these things are called. Kind of just for the back of the brakes and stuff. What's up, bro? Back here, it's kind of hard to see. I'm not sure if you guys can see with the light. There is one 22 millimeter up here and 122 on the bottom. You can kind of see. There's the other 22 right there. Take those 2 off. Caliper's gonna come off, and then we'll get to the next step. So I took the rotor off. I actually forgot about telling you guys about this bolt. The 12 millimeter, you gotta loosen that so you can free up the extra slack in your brake line. Be sure to never let your stuff like hang and stuff. So like I put the bolt back on, that 22 millimeter. I put it back on just to keep the caliper in place. So I loosened that. I was gonna set the caliper up here, but I decided I'll just leave this in place and see how this goes. That way I don't have to kind of be fumbling with anything or whatever. We just removed one of these little pins. If you guys can see, there's another little pin right there. When you slide that little pin out, this little thing kind of holds the brake pads in place. So I pop those things out, those little, I don't know, retainers, and this little shield pops right off. It kind of flies off. Then obviously, like I said, that's what holds your brake pads in. Pretty worn out, my pads, especially if you compare to new. We'll compare these old ones to my new ones and then go from there. Always clean your stuff up like whenever you're doing this. When you wash your cars, you're not really able to get like all the back stuff. So now that we have this taken apart, might as well go ahead and knock that out, clean these up. So something else I forgot to mention is before you kind of pull these out and start putting new ones in, you're gonna actually run into an issue later on if you don't do this. You put the new ones in, obviously the new pads are gonna be a whole lot thicker. So when you go to slide it on over your rotor, it's not gonna fit. So while these old pads are still on and with like a pry bar or some sort, just however you wanna go about it, but spread them out. Push these little pistons that are inside, push them back in so you have like maximum clearance, and then that way when you get everything to go and you go to put everything back together, the caliper and everything, all this brake setup will slide right over your rotor pretty easily. Trying to show you guys the difference in the pad life there. So I got the top one on. I'm just kind of gonna give you guys like a quick little rundown how you kind of do it. So you just kind of push this back a little. Might be a little tough. So pull that back, slide the pin through. Just kind of push it back. You have to pull on these little legs back so you guys can see how the kind of pattern goes. So it kind of weaves in and out of there. So that way, it kind of holds your brake pads super tight in place. But pretty self-explanatory. Just kind of a little pain in the butt to get these things to line up. Nice little love taps. If that's like focusing right there, but there's these little holes. Obviously you can tell in the little pin. There's a little hole. Obviously this little pin right in that little hole, that's what holds it. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. Super easy. Yeah, that's it. Brakes are done. Now we just gotta slide the caliper back on, and that'll be it. So ran into like a little issue there. I didn't push these inner pistons in all the way. I thought I would have enough clearance. I just pushed these outer ones. These outer ones, boom, as soon as you put a little pressure, they kind of retracted. These inner ones, they didn't, so I was like, I think that's enough. Try to put it on. It's pretty tough. Obviously, there wasn't enough clearance to slide over the rotor. So, you know, like you guys just saw, I just stuck, you know, the smooth end of the hammer in there. Right there, it's not gonna cause no damage to the pads or anything like that. And then you just kind of wiggle it, you know, put a little pressure on it, and the pistons should slowly kind of retract. For this one, we're just gonna do a quick time lapse. I'm gonna take off this 12 up top just to have that little room. The 222s, like I said on the other side, slide the rotor out, you know, make sure we have adequate space for between the two pads. That way when we slide them back on with the new set, you know, it'll be good to go, it'll be a little bit easier. And that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Gotta get these jams on point, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get me some Meisters, throw these bad boys on the wifey's whip. I mean, it's like they look okay, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. It's a little banging. Ooh. Damn, I love this thing. Something small that I always notice on cars is the license plate lights. I like a super bright license plate light for whatever reason, I don't know. And I really dislike the cheap eBay LED license plate lights, which my car came with them. I'm gonna turn them on here so you guys can check them out. As you can see, they look cool. They have a bluish tint to them. I like more of the white look. Something that I hate about these cheap ones, they flicker. So this one is flickers on and off. There you go. I didn't even touch it that time, and they're not quite as bright. I've always questioned, is it worth it to buy expensive LEDs? I've seen and heard of Diode Dynamics. Actually, I think I've bought stuff from them in the past. Their lights have been super bright. They've lasted me forever. They don't flicker. They fit in the little slots. It seems like perfect. I actually bought a pair of those, and I was kind of curious, like, is it worth it? You know, like the cheap LED bulbs, you can get those, you know, a dozen for $1 or something like that. But the Diode Dynamics, they sell them for like a pair for like 20 bucks or 30 bucks for like their most expensive, brightest license plate light. So I went ahead and ordered their most expensive license plate bulb just to see what it was. I think it was like 92 lumens per bulb, which I guess is pretty bright. So I'm gonna swap them out and then we'll do a comparison, see if it's worth it. So actually I already have one side off. Obviously it's super easy. These things just pop in and out. So these are the HP5. These are their brightest bulbs. We're gonna do a comparison. I left one side with the eBay ones, and I'm about to do this side. So I think, boom, right off the bat, you guys can tell. Look at the quality. And then this is gonna be solid, no flickering. Versus this thing, well, I mean, I guess, oh, there it goes, shuts off. So I think very worth it. 20 bucks, yeah, versus a dozen for $1, a couple dollars. Boom, look at that. Quality, homie.